Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Sammer, along with my co-host Stank and Poppy Latte, and you're watching the Loose Cannons, presented by Red Cat Plumbing and Air, a Tampa-based company who takes pride in their reputation for timely service, professional results, and exceeding your expectations. They truly define hashtag Tampa Proud. We are joined by the original AB88, Anthony Becht, hanging out with the Loose Cannons. What's up, Anthony? How you doing, man?
Life is good, man. It's good to be on the national renowned show, Loose Cannons. Now, you guys are, I don't know if I'm going to have content like BA, but I mean, hell, I mean, that's pretty sweet. You guys getting, I'm going on my timeline every flip of my thumb. I see Loose Cannons, I see all this stuff, all this content on all the major outlets, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Wow.
We didn't know that would happen. Honestly, we didn't really think that would happen.
You never know what catches on, right? It's
Yeah.
pretty sweet. That's good stuff, though.
Yep.
You guys deserve it, man. You
I'm,
guys
if I'm being transparent, honestly, afterwards we were like, "Holy shit!" And then it just whatever happened on we released it on a Friday, and then all of a sudden Monday it's like,
Yeah,
like,
Pat
what?
McAfee, that was pretty dope, man. Anthony, a lot of stuff's been coming out of the Bucks camp. They've taken care of every single free agent that they want to keep, with the exception of one, AB. So I have to ask you, because you're an NFL player. You were an NFL player, so you've gone through this. What
Yeah.
what really happens behind the scenes when we hear a report that says the Bucks have made 3 contract offers to Antonio Brown, but have not heard back from him, or they haven't come close to a number money wise? What does that mean? Like, what goes on behind the scenes, and what exactly does that mean when they've made 3 contract offers? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, clearly they feel like AB was an important part of the team, right? So, I mean, they're make an initial offer. It's probably never what the player wants to hear. The first one, they go back and forth, and they finally kind of hit a number, and then there's like a number in the player's head, right? So, really, the only way to get that number and justify it is you need leverage. So, AB, look, he played the good card this year, right? I mean, we didn't hear from him in the media, said all the right things, wasn't a distraction. All the things we talked about in a past podcast about all the things we were, or at least I worried about, none of that stuff came up. So he's thinking to himself, all right, he's not a dumb guy, right? So he's going to try to, well, at least in the circumstances on the field this year, he wasn't a dumb guy. He's trying to play his cards the best way he can. So he's got the top end number that the Bucs are going to offer. Can him and his agent find leverage? Can they get another team to get in the mix? Does he want to come back? I'm sure he does. But I mean, look, every player would like to maximize themselves, especially you look at his scenario, right? I mean, the guy's had, ton of money early on, makes a huge contract, then gets another one, messes it all up, and then he's out of the league. And then all of a sudden he gets a chance to rejuvenate himself. Not only does he do that, he wins a Super Bowl ring, in the process. So he played all his cards correctly. It's just, is there another team that says, you know what, we're buying in? I would say this. I don't know if he works everywhere. I don't think he works at a lot of places. It's very minimal. I don't think Tomlin's taking him back in Pittsburgh, so that's out of the mix. So where else is he going to go? So I think he's got to go somewhere where he can be babysat, quite honestly, and this is the best place. So I'm sure that number is good for him, but he's probably just playing it. They're not going after another guy in free agency. There's nobody that matches his skill set, right? So they're not going after another receiver that's available. So they're just going to wait it out because they do have enough depth. I mean, they do have guys that can come in and make plays. We know that outside of the starting receiving core. So, for him, he doesn't have to make an initial decision, and nor should the organization and Jason Light, who gave him a chance. They shouldn't be like, well, hey, behind the scenes, we gave this guy a shot. Why is he holding out? Like, this is the normal process. And, both sides got to go part their business. Do I think he'll be back? I think so. I mean, if it's the third offer, he clearly has gotten 2 other offers that were better, right, from the initial one. So, again, he's just playing all his cards. And, hell, it may be into a training camp. Why does he have to sign, before training camp? It could lead right into training camp. And then from there, they can make a decision. I mean, if they got the space to give him what they want to give him now, then it's going to be there moving forward. They're not going to make some sign. Nobody's going to come in, like I said, with that skill set that he can bring to the table. So I don't think it's a rush thing at all, to be honest with you.
I think
What other team's head quarterback is going to allow him to live with them? well.
Yeah. Well, did that really happen for the whole year? I mean, come on. After a while, you're like, dude, can you get out of my house and get your own spot?
He slept on the couch the entire season.
I envisioned him on the couch as well. I don't think he ever left. But you're saying there's no rush from AB side. I don't think there's any rush by the team side either. Like, we kind of have the leverage, like you said. We have depth.
Of course, yeah, of course they do.
We don't really need at this point. It's just
a luxury pick,
a luxury thing. We have depth. We have, I mean, one of the best, if not one of the best wide receiving core in the league. We're deep at that position, and
OJ Howard's healthier.
OJ Howard's coming back healthy. We're going to get Najee Harris. Najee, by the way. Everybody out there
is that your pick already? You already delivered?
Najee. Sorry.
But he made that very clear in his press conference. Najee.
Yeah,
he's like, I don't even know why you guys are even like, it's Najee. Like, what's the problem?
Okay, so if AB doesn't sign, though, think about this scenario where the Bucs are like, all right, he's not interested. We got Larry Fitzgerald knocking on our door nonstop. Let's just give the money to that guy, and then they move on.
Why?
I'm not agreeing. I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Like, there is that side of it, too.
There's no devil's advocate. Just why? Like, he's washed.
I agree.
love the guy.
AB brings a totally different skill set. He allows the 3 wide receivers to play multiple spots where, you don't need a older version of Chris Godwin on the team because that's all he's be doing.
He's an elite 3, right? I mean, let's be honest. Give me 3 guys that are the 3 in the NFL. He blows them out of the water, right? So he'll demand a little more money than them, but they know that, again, they got depth at the position. They have other players. Tyler Johnson's going to be a better player next year. Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, they got some guys that can step in and they may not match it, but they're going to be better themselves. So, I think they just sit and hold, and if it's there and he still wants it, then he'll be back. If not, then they'll move on. Like you said,
you can call Larry Fitzgerald washed all you want, but if it's Cyril Grayson or Larry Fitzgerald, backing up one of the starting receivers, it's Larry Fitzgerald, right?
But you have Scotty Miller and you have Tyler Johnson. It's not Cyril Grayson or whatever his name is.
Thank you, Sammer. Thank you. When you have the best wide receiving core in the entire league, spearheaded by Scotty Miller, followed by Mike Evans, and then Chris Godwin. I mean, come on. Like, when your third best receiver is Chris Godwin. What?
And we also have the draft. You never know what they could be picking.
Hey, 32, they can just go. They literally. Anthony, I'd love to get your thoughts on that.
Already, to it.
Not that. Just like the position that the Bucs are in, right? Like, what a unique position. We are all draft junkies on this podcast because that's all we have to look forward to our entire time that we've been Bucs fans, right? Like, we get excited about reinstilled hope, and this guy might be the game changer for us. And like, I don't even remember looking at mock drafts last year, and now it's just a really unique position to be able to literally say, I don't know what they're gonna do. They can literally take they can take a freaking wide receiver for all we know. If it's BPA, who knows? And Chris Godwin might walk next year. What are your thoughts on that? Like, them just being in that position, that literally they can throw a dart and just say, best player.
Well, I think the one thing that happens sometimes is when you're in that last spot is guys sometimes fall down the draft for no apparent reason, right? It's because teams don't need the position. There's values somewhere differently that they're in dire need of, and then all of a sudden you may have a person in mind that you want to take, and then all of a sudden the guy falls into your lap. You're like, oh crap, like, we can get this guy right now. Like, we had him like between picks 12 and 17, and now he's available 32. And that can happen because you see it all the time. We'll see names go 15 to 32, and you're like, oh, I didn't have that guy in the first round. Like, how does he go above this guy or so and so? So I think number one, that's something that clearly could happen, that visibly something just appears in their hands and their laps, and they're like, it doesn't matter if we need it or not. We got to get this guy because we just got him rated so high on the board. Another way is that's a very valuable pick to some people as far as, contract situation. You get that 5 years in, maybe there's a team that, there's a quarterback that falls down. They want to jump up and jump in there, and you can get yourself an extra pick and maybe like 2 or 3, become 33, 34, 35 in the draft. And now you can get yourself in a situation where you get another pick later, and then you can just move down a couple spots. And again, you're still going to probably get the guy that maybe you want in that situation. Now, as far as actually just going and take a player, I think there's a couple scenarios. One, defensively is probably where your mindset is. Running back's probably where your mindset. And I think the wild card there is quarterback, just because of the fact that, okay, you might as well get your thinking is get somebody that can help the team now because this is our run. This is what we got to do. But like, if there's a guy that's there, a quarterback that you can get value for and lock him in for 5 years, I would love to have this team set up for the future too, as well. I mean, I know we're all winning now. Nobody ever thinks of that, but you really do have enough pieces without adding anything. Let's be honest. If there's no injuries involved, you can go out and duplicate exactly what you did last year. If you can get a really good quarterback that you like, that's like, man, nobody took this guy. Like that's for instance, let's say Kyle Trask. Maybe a lot of people have him rated. Maybe a lot of people have him rated, upper mid second round. But okay. I promise you this: Kyle Trask will become a much better player and be able to take leaps and bounds over other quarterbacks if he gets to sit down and watch and learn instead of just getting thrown in the fire and just say, hey, I hope you can do it. And I don't think he's a guy that can do that. He's not that kind of guy. But I also believe that there's a tremendous amount of value for quarterbacks that can learn. And why not learn from the greatest that exists, right, with Tom Brady? But eliminate all that, then you go out defensive. So who are some guys, in my opinion, if you want to go defensive end, I mean, like it's not a deep draft at defensive end, but there are some really good players. The two guys from Miami, I mean, to me, they're studs. The Phillips kid and then the Rizzoli, whatever his name. But both of those guys are impact guys. Phillips obviously played last year, and I really like him. The kid's built like a Adonis. He's flexible. He can move. He's got tremendously long arms. He's powerful. But you're going to have to replace JPP at some point, right? He's not going to be the guy. And I don't know if Anthony Nelson is quite that number one pass rusher. He's a mix-up guy, right? So he's kind of good for what he does. Move inside now. I really think, with a guy like Sue and Vita Vea, I really think they want, just in my opinion, a little more of a speed guy at defensive tackle, right? A guy that's a little quicker because you got your hands full with Vita Vea. He gives you both, right? Power and speed. You got the pass rushers outside that are always dictating double teams if you can get them. Who are those pass defensive and the quicker guys that are out there? Like, for instance, a Marvin Wilson from Florida State. Here's a guy, a big guy, a little shorter, stockier guy, but he's very quick and explosive. He can get into space really quick. He's another guy that sat out most of his senior year to get himself prepared for the draft. But again, he's probably the best guy at that position, and those guys may slip. And if you can get that, I know Todd Bowles would love to have a guy inside that's got a little more speed than just Sue pressing the pocket, even though he's done a great job with it. Again, he's not getting any younger, and he's kind of a one-trick pony right now. If you want to go a little later, hell, I would go with a guy from my alma mater, Darius Stills. I mean, he's a guy that, to me, 6'1", 290. The MO is he's too small, he's too short. But if you put him in a system with a Vita Vea and two pass rushers, I'm telling you now, one-on-one, this guy was the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year. And you're like, oh, well, they don't play defense for this. Trust me, a lot of linemen are coming out of the Big 12, and he dominated them one-on-one, double team, whatever that may be. You want somebody that has a motor and has just a pass rush and ability to just go every snap. I think he's a really good guy that gives you tremendous value a little later in the draft that maybe people aren't really thinking highly of. So again, you kind of, mix those two names up, whether you go bottom of the first or second or third round with Stills. And the last thing you mentioned him early on in the show is, running back. I mean, man, if a Harris were to fall down from Bama to 32, he's a hard guy to pass up. I mean, you're talking about catching the ball, running the ball. He's just a fierce, all-around built running back that he's super smart, super talented. The dude loves football. I mean, he loves football. You're getting a home run day one. Or the guy that may be better than all of them that, people know and people are talking about is Javonte Williams from North Carolina. From what everyone that's telling me and some people that I talked to, they said, listen, if you pass him up, he'll make you pay. And listen, he had to share time with another back. They both had over 1,000 yards rushing last year. And they said that he could have probably got 2,000 if he was by himself. So that's kind of my mindset there. But again, the word I use is flexibility. I think the Bucs have a lot of options. You're not going to lose any sleep regardless because you have so many scenarios. And I think Jason Lake, can make some things happen at that spot favorable to what this team needs.
You brought up Javonte, and so, early in the week or last week, the Bucs re-signed playoff Lenny, Lombardi Lenny. So now at number 32, does that signing affect the Bucs at 32? Does it take running back off the table, or is it still an option there? Like some people are saying, oh, that's it. They signed the guy. They're not, you scratch running back off at 32, or is it still an option because the best player available and always adding playmakers? Because again, at the end of next season, Rojo and Lenny are both technically free agents, and I don't feel like the Bucs are going to offer a big payday over to Rojo. They'll still have Keyshawn Vaughn, but I feel like they should at least have somebody there ready. Or maybe next year they could draft a running back too. But does 32 still have running back as an option?
I mean, listen, you got 2 backs on 1-year deals, man. I mean, there's no commitment. So you're ideally in the situation to take it back. And look, Keyshawn Vaughn is what it is. I mean, I think going into the draft last year and where they got him, and they probably overspent for him. But at the same token, I wasn't really expecting much out of him. I think he's a good change-up back, good special team guy. He'll learn to be one of those versatile, maybe like an Ernest Graham kind of player for the Buccaneers, which is a very important part of the team. So, just because you draft a guy later in the later rounds and, it's not a fail or you have a guy, you don't. I mean, when you get special talent and you can lock them up for 4 or 5 years and you only got 2 backs, okay, with 1-year deals, and you're not extending the other guy and you gave 1 year to Leonard Fournette, there's no question a running back should be high in the conversation, especially if one falls down to that part of the draft.
Yeah, but Anthony, everybody on that offense is on a 1-year deal outside of Mike Evans. I mean, who in the offensive line? you got
Beck,
huh?
And the
quarterback is on. Essentially, you got one or 2 more years out of everybody. So I think there's a lot of uncertainty for the future on offense. However, I still think we go defense. I think
if you think there's uncertainty, then you're with me on the Kyle Trask pick because you're
no. But what you're not getting is that Aaron Rodgers is the next quarterback here in Tampa. So
it's possible. I've heard that. What do they call those things? Conspiracy theories or whatever.
You heard it here. We started
never drafting a quarterback again, ever. And then Russell Wilson after that. We're just going to keep on taking Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Just keep on one after the other.
I would come here. Why wouldn't Aaron Rodgers come down here?
Right?
To me, it's really a no-brainer. He's available after next season, right?
That's what I'm saying.
No standing up tax.
It's a no-brainer. The deal already may be done. Who knows?
Could be.
Let's be honest. I mean, without physically tampering with it.
Anthony, I do have to ask you, and by the way, just for those out there, Kyle Trask is an undraftable player in my
Calm down.
I don't care how long you sit behind Tom Brady. Tom Brady's not going to give you arm strength. You don't learn arm strength.
Thank you.
Okay?
You can't throw the ball.
The guy,
yards on the field.
Plenty of strength in his arm.
No, his passes flutter on intermediate passes. I mean, 20-yard outs are difficult.
Never critique Tom Brady. I will never say anything like that about Tom Brady.
No, not Tom Brady.
Not Tom Brady. We're talking about Trask. No, we're talking about Trask.
Trask has.
He brought me a freaking Super Bowl.
I love Tom No. Do not even come close to saying that.
I mean, listen, you're right. He can get better. I mean, look,
you can't teach arm strength.
You can't teach arm strength.
You got a Canes fan and a Knowles fan talking shit about a Gator.
No, it has nothing to do with that.
Sammer. I got some Florida fans at the barbershop. George, shout out, my manager at my location where I work at, who's a hardcore Gator fan. As I so beautifully named them, Kyle Trash.
Thank you.
You brought up quarterback.
I won a lot of games. I'm not going to lie.
Well, he also shit his pants, confirmed.
Did you see? He had 2.
I think his coach had a little bit to do with that.
After Pitt sat out and freaking Tony, he shit his pants. He was like,
the entire team.
What was he supposed to do?
What do I do?
Anybody would do that if you didn't have your 2 best players. I mean, was he just supposed to make something happen?
Anthony, stop. I'm throwing up in my mouth here. You're a West Virginia guy, man. He's Kyle Trash. Now, listen, speaking of quarterbacks, you are close to a situation.
I am.
Us on this podcast are very used to making excuses for players, such as there's no defense, such as there's no run game, there's no weapons. My brother here, Stank, proposed a scenario. Instead of drafting one, what if we kick a 3rd-round pick over to the Jets for Aaron or for Sam Darnold? What are your thoughts on Sam Darnold? And was it what was around him? Like we made the excuses for Jameis? I mean, he's only 23 years old. Is that a scenario you can see, working?
I like Sam. I do. I mean, everybody wants to say it's damaged goods because of what he's gone through. But, between mononucleosis, between injuries, freak injuries, not injuries that keep coming back. And then it's lack of talent. I mean, if he was playing in a scenario like Jameis had his last year with the weapons that he had going, it may have been a different story. Sam's got the one thing that, you need from a quarterback. He can shake shit off real quick. Like he makes a mistake. It's like move on. a lot of that's a tough kind of deal to, to really kind of to have as a quarterback in between the ears to just kind of mentally just move on to the next play. And look, I mean, listen, I got to cover the Jets every single week, inside and out. And I'm just telling you, it'll be better next year, obviously, because, some of the offseason work and the draft picks they have, but he's really had nothing. And think about, I think the entire season, his true top 4 receivers only played like 3 games. So it's just been a cluster every single week. And you hate to make excuses, but so it's just going to be tough. How do you evaluate the guy? If you're a Jets fan, I mean, listen, they're about as rouge of a fan base as you can get. I mean, you always want something different, right? Oh, I get something out. Look at this guy, Zach Wilson, make this great throw, and he's going to be the guy, and all this stuff. I'm like, pump the brakes here. Like, it's not that easy to just come in the league and be Pat Mahomes. I mean, it's just not happening like that, right? So I just think for me, 3rd round pick, I don't know if the Jets would take that, but I think at the worst case they would want a 2nd. But I mean, listen, it's definitely I would say it's worth it. It's worth trying to get that, unless you guys truly want Aaron Rodgers, then you don't do it. But even if you got Aaron Rodgers, it'd be nice to get him. At least you had him as an insurance policy, right? I mean, I think it's worth it. I mean,
give him Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, OJ Howard. That's insane. The kid, he's always been talented. The Jets are just wow.
I mean, if it's going to take one draft pick, I think. Look, if the Jets take a quarterback, which may happen, then if you're Jason Light, why wouldn't you say, hey, I got this high 3rd round pick. You want to do a swap? And maybe you throw him a bone. Maybe there's I don't know. Probably not. Probably just a draft pick and just see what they say. If they take it, the Jets may say, look, we're just going to keep him because we want quarterback competition, or we want a guy that's played and has a backup role. And, Sam's not going to like that. But, hell, I mean, they're not doing anything to help players, right? They're just whatever's going to, benefit them as an organization. So that's just how it works. But, yeah, why not? I mean, you put it out there. I mean, what quarterback you getting in the top of the 3rd round that's going to have as much experience as Sam Darnold? I mean, I don't know.
What about Kellen Mond?
People are saying here Kellen Mond, who's a poor man's Jameis Winston.
I don't know. Kellen's a little stiff for me. He's a big arm, big slingshot guy. He's got not a lot of bend. I mean, he's had a ton of success. I think he's the all-time passer there, but there's something about him, man. It just is a little like just not fluent. I hope he kills it. I want all these guys to be awesome. There's just things I see that maybe I don't know if it'll be, success for him, in the league, but we'll see. I mean, he's super athlete. He's strong. He's big. I mean, he's a 4-year damn starter in a major conference. So, I love the kid. He had a great college career. I just don't know if he's the right guy, I don't know. I think there's other options.
Part of my not wanting to draft a quarterback or even trade for one, as even with the scenario you guys played out with Sam Darnold, is that when you hire the next head coach, and Bruce is not going to be here for the next 4 years, maybe not even past the next 2 years, maybe. So you need to make sure that who you're going to give up an asset for is going to be who that next guy wants. In that case, if it's, say, Todd Bowles, who's on the staff and has some familiarity with what the Jets are doing, because I think he drafted him, did he not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that makes sense, because, okay, if Todd Bowles is going to take over, he gets to handpick his guy, or he gets to at least work with a guy as an option that he at least knows, then that makes sense. If it's not that scenario, then I don't see the point in bringing in a guy that you're eventually going to get rid of, because whoever comes in next is going to get their guy. They're going to want to pick their guy. That's always been the thing.
How do you say? What do you mean it's not going to be Bruce's guy? Bruce is going to have a statue outside of Raymond James with the golden biscuit, and he's going to move into the president role. So it's still his guy.
He's not coaching, though.
You all remember when Bruce said he was retiring if they won the Super Bowl?
But he's the
Did y'all ask him that? Did he? Because he backtracked on that real quick when that came up after the game. And we're all back and pieces are back. It's something about winning, man. That drives you, man. When you're a coach, dude, it's crazy.
I mean, he knows.
He got a fucking tattoo.
Yeah,
he got a tattoo.
He did, bro.
What other coach has a tattoo of a team logo on their back? Only ours.
Yeah, I don't know many. I mean, hell, that's pretty.
Did you hear Jason Light? Jason Light said, "I didn't get one this year, but if we win next year,
He's like, I'm not going to commit. He was like, oh, I can't commit to it.
No, he said I'll get a face tat. I can't commit to it this year.
He was joking.
Wow.
Hey, Anthony, it would be a shame to not ask you about one of the freakiest players to ever potentially come into this league, and that's Kyle Pitts.
Yeah.
Can you describe? I mean, is he even a tight end?
He is. Probably one of the best tight end prospects to come out in a long time. Excellent, outstanding route runner. He runs as good as a route as Darren Waller does today, not when Darren Waller was working into the league. I know a lot of people have thrown that comparison out there, but that's where he is today. So he can split out. He can be in the slot. He can be at the edge of the line of scrimmage. I like him to get his weight up a little bit. I think he can carry 260 and be just as effective, but he weighed in at 245. He'll put on 10 pounds or so. And a lot of people talk about, well, we need a complete tight end. He can't block. I'll be honest with you now, his technique, his form, his punch, his hands inside, he sinks his hips. He does everything exactly textbook as the way you want to do it for a guy that wants to block. And he shows a little dog doing it. I've seen multiple clips where he gets his hands inside, and he fights a guy. Now he might not drive him off the ball, but he definitely shows he wants to do it, which was something that I did not notice because, you always watch his pass catches. They don't highlight his blocking, inline blocking. But honestly, I'd say everything is premium for him. The one thing that it's not a knock, it just shows up on film. And for whatever reason is when he runs his routes and goes out for a pass, like, he doesn't go out every single snap as if he's getting the ball every play. And that, to me, it's not concerning. It can definitely change, but I just think he could have doubled his output at Florida if he just, went a little harder sometimes. And sometimes you can't tell if he's going hard or not because he's got like this kind of like this form that he just glides, and you're like, oh man, he looks like he's jogging, but then you open up the film and he's 5 yards ahead of everybody else. But the one thing that tells me a lot about a guy is, do they have a little dog in them when you're a pass catcher? He does have it. It's there. So to me, that just tells me a little bit about his makeup, and I'm all over that because you can't teach that to guys. I can get, I know ways to get that out of guys if they don't have it, but coaches aren't really, they don't have the time nor the way to kind of figure those things out. But as far as the God-given ability and the talent, I mean, he could be one of the best in football next year if he wants to. So I'm going to put that expectation on him because he's that good. And I think he's going to be a major mismatch problem wherever he goes. And I think he's going to go really early in the draft.
Yeah, I think
as long as he doesn't go to Atlanta. Just don't go to Atlanta.
We're going to see him twice a year.
Their head coach is
who is who in our division is in the top 10? Just Atlanta, right?
Atlanta's at 4 and Carolina's at 8.
Carolina's going quarterback though,
for sure.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, if the guy that
that guy makes a quarterback look good, so you can have somebody else. And I mean, if Teddy Bridgewater had to throw the Kyle Pitts to throw a ball to, I'm sure they can make it happen.
It doesn't matter. Homeboy from Good Morning Football said it best. Oh no, Ryan Clark said it best. Unless you have Levante David, he's going to be a problem. But you got Levante David, you got Devin White. But I agree with you, Anthony, your assessment. I'm no film analyst or nothing.
That is a problem for those.
You forgot more about football than I know. But he is. I mean, half the battle is willing, right? That was some of the stuff with OJ in the beginning, was being a willing blocker. And from the stuff that I've seen, I mean, the exact word, he's fucking dog, bro. He's just a dog. He sticks his face in the fan. He's not afraid, and he just lays it all on the field. What I like about him too is he high points the shit out of the ball. Like, some guys don't use their size. He goes up and just, like, godly, just mosses the shit out of people. He's gonna be a freak. Please, Atlanta, just trade out.
Speaking of good blocking, we've had. I'm gonna kind of shift away from the draft. We'll come right back to it. Anthony, we've had you on a couple of times. We've seemed to always talk about Donovan Smith, and you've had your opinions on Donovan Smith, and you've been in his corner. And recently he had his contract extended so that they could work, the funny money to make it all work for everybody else around us.
Right.
What are your thoughts on Donovan getting that extension and what it means for him moving forward now that we've seen a really good sample size of him being dominant as a left tackle against good pass rushers, like elite pass rushers in big time moments, big time games, protecting the fucking GOAT.
Well, you can thank a rookie for that, right? I mean, someone that actually pushed him and made him feel that, I have a responsibility to do something at a higher level every single snap, because his man on the other side, Tristan Wirfs, he didn't take a snap off. He didn't have bad technique or bad form on a lot of his plays as a rookie. I've said this since day one. Donovan Smith is an elite left tackle that has occasional lazy tendencies to his playing style during the game. And I would say after last season and watching him from game one all the way through, I rarely saw those things happen. Now, did he have his moments? Yes. Everybody, look, left tackle's not easy, fellas. I mean, let's be honest. The work he put in was elite, right? Because it's just not an easy deal. You're getting the best dude, regardless, or you're getting the guy over there. So why not? I mean, dude, you got to make that. He's in the peak of his career, man. Like, you're in the moment. Like, Bucs aren't dumb. Where the hell else are you going to find? Like, the Jets signed like 4 linemen, in free agency last year. Like, one of them panned out, the other guy, and they all got more than 1-year deals. Like, they're hard to find. You force money on some of these guys sometimes. I mean, it's just amazing. You get to see Ali Marpet still here, long-term deal. Donovan Smith still here, long-term deal. You drafted him and you got him to pan out. I mean, it's a tribute. And I want to give a shout out to my guy, Joe Gilbert, the offensive line coach. Joe did a phenomenal job. I mean, listen, he's got a lot of big money guys in that room, right? A lot of different personalities, but you got to get everybody to play at their highest level and to buy in. Even, Ryan Jensen is another guy that, we didn't see the personal fouls. We didn't see the silliness. He was an instigator, but he didn't follow it up with anything this year. So he did exactly what I like seeing him do, making the other guys get it and then just going back to the huddle. So right now, this line's they're the best line in football, man, in my opinion. You put it back there. I mean, look, Fournette and those guys had a nice year, but, you get 2 of those guys that I mentioned earlier behind those dudes, they're not going to miss many holes. They're going to make some plays. So it's good to have, man. They're hard to find. If you get them, lock them up. If you got to overpay a little bit, overpay them because you just can't find them.
Yeah, if you listen to Donovan's press conference after he signed the extension, he said he basically is like, I had to kind of, look at myself in the mirror a little bit, and having a guy like Brady in that locker room to push everybody's
no doubt,
raise their level.
No doubt.
And I think he's one of those guys who did raise his level. I think he realized, especially after that first game, getting his ass whooped. I mean, he got whooped in that game. I think that
by a guy everybody thought was a cheese curl. It ended up making the Pro Bowl, right? He got a big time deal after.
Yeah, but he got his vengeance. He got to face him in the playoffs. He locked the guy down and looked like a completely different player.
I don't think that guy played.
He did.
Yeah, he played. He was injured. He was going injured.
Hendrickson?
Came off injury, but he played.
Hendrickson, yeah, Hendrickson.
Hendrickson.
But also, I think it still goes back, Stank, to that marker for the season for everything, for the discipline, for the penalties. The Chicago game too. There was a couple times where Brady looked at him where he just whiffed on blocks and Brady's on the ground looking at him like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, he almost didn't have words. Just look at him like, "Are you dumb? Like, what the fuck is going on?"
From a fan's perspective, guys. So I mean, like, if you remember 2 plays, you probably don't remember 4, 5, or 6, right? That's the thing. Like, you always remember the bad sacks, but it's still like a big picture. I mean, that's the toughest position. Like he pretty much handled it. I mean, look, he's athletic enough to make up for his sloppiness of technique sometimes, and then there's sometimes he just gets whipped. I mean, again, it's going to happen. They get paid too, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
I put a
pretty good defensive line.
Yeah, and I put a high standard on him. I just do because I want him to be dominant. Don't waste your premium years of your career not being a potentially a Jonathan Ogden or a Willie Rowe for one of those guys, or the dude Walter Jones from, like, why not be that guy, man? I'm telling you, it's you're in the and I think for me too, I don't know. Look, here's the thing. I don't know what he does in the off season. But I mean, just whatever he's got to do to crank himself up technically, he should do it. I mean, push yourself to the limits. I think that it would work wonders for a guy like him because, I think I always just see him as a guy that just, look, man, he just gets by because he's so talented, right? Like, if you dialed it all in and just said, you know what, and maybe that's what he's doing and that's what he is. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for him, but he deserved to get an extent, whatever it was, lock him in. It's an important part. And you're right, Tom Brady, again, that's another big piece of why he did it, because there is a demand. You don't want to be the guy that, knock on wood, knocks a guy out, like Tom Brady, you want to have him around. And, there's that trust factor.
Anthony, we mentioned Najee, we mentioned Javonte, ETN as well. Is one of those three guys, or two, let's say two, because Javonte, bottom of the first round, maybe second round guy. If they feel that that's the cherry on top, do you think one of those guys is worth trading up for? Like if the Bucs want to get aggressive, like you said earlier, if they're in that 2-year window, I didn't ask you, Stank. I didn't ask you, bro. I didn't ask you. I'm not a proponent to say trade up.
I didn't hear you say anything, Stank.
I'm asking our guest.
Yeah, you don't even know what I was thinking ahead about.
His wife may be saying something in the
Mike just got an email.
I don't want that. I don't want
my attorney or
He's
something.
in the she shed, bro. She's not out there. He's in the she shed.
In the he shed.
So no, I should have said I'm not a proponent of it. But if they're in this aggressive window, want to win now, and they feel like that's the cherry on top. I mean, we said it earlier. You look at this team top to bottom. There's not many weaknesses. If an ETN starts to fall a little bit and within reach, is that a guy that's worth trading up for?
I think, I don't know how far the separation is between those three players. And if you clearly have a guy that's like in your top 20, of course it makes sense to you because that's where you have him rated. I don't think all three of those guys will be off the board at 32. So if they're kind of close and you're pulling hairs, and you're probably like, let's just see which one falls to us, But, hey, listen, if you're at 28 and Harris hasn't gone yet and you had him at 20 on your board, maybe, maybe. So, again, it's all scenario driven, man. I think a lot of the vision happens as the board plays out. People think like this is the plan. Like plans change after every pick, man. Like that's why you got to be on top of it. You gotta like, when you're driving in traffic and you're looking at the car in front of you, you better look at the third and the fourth car in front of you because you're trying to get that vision. That's what you got to be as a GM and a personnel guy and all this stuff. Hey, man, this guy's, you're erasing names off your top 15, top 20, and you got three players there and you're at pick 28. There's value now for those guys according to what you and your staff have put in that scouting work to. So, of course, that makes sense if those guys are rated high enough on your board.
So what you're saying is confirmed. Kevin Costner draft day. That's exactly how it goes down. We're living in a different world.
That was a pretty sweet
we were in
movie.
2 minutes ago. I'm going to give you 4 first-round picks, then I'm going to get them back from you because you're a pancake-eating son of a bitch. So it goes down basically like that. Like
we saw how it went down last year. Remember when Jason Light walked us through the whole thing? How the trade went down in that first round? I mean, we've never gotten that kind of like actual behind-the-scenes feel.
It was COVID and everything. Nobody in the war room. But, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he broke it down for us. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's pretty dope, man. Anthony, before we forget, man, I want to make sure we get to this. You have your annual Anthony Becht football camp coming up. I'm not sure if you guys did it last year with COVID or not, but love to give you the chance to let people know how they can get their kid out there, or if they don't have a kid, how they can help, how they can donate.
Yeah, so I appreciate it. So yeah, this is so last year would have been our 15th year of the Anthony Becht football camp. So 15 and year 16 is kind of where we're at. I started this thing in Philadelphia, where I was born, at my old high school, and in 2006. And I just said, hey, I want to give back to my school. I want to do something for the youth. So the plan was, have a camp, bring in current and former football players to teach the kids, work with the kids, get the high school kids involved in training the youth, and get them on like, kind of a mentoring type of deal. And then, and then at the end you write a check and you give back. So it started off like the first camp, there was like 40 kids, and then it grew and grew and grew. And then when I moved to Tampa and signed here, I was like, well, this is my home now. So let's start doing one here. So we moved it to Tampa. We'd always have it. This is, I think, our 10th camp in Tampa. We'd always have it at Land O'Lakes for the first 8 years at the high school there, because we used to live by there. So, no real tie or anything to the
Land
school.
O'Lakes skater, bro.
Yeah. So we used to, we helped their football team out, and we also made a scholarship for a male and female athlete of any sport. And then when my son obviously jumped into high school at Wiregrass Ranch High School in Wesley Chapel, ultimately that's where we had the camp 2 years ago. So we're bringing the camp back. It's for grades 1 through 8, fall of 2021. And it's an awesome camp. It's a camp that if your child, or you think your child's a really good football player for that age, it's a great camp for them because they're going to learn all the positions and everything about football. If your child has never touched a football, or maybe you feel like, they got a little bit of a catching skill, but, they've never had an experience, this is a great camp for them as well because, it's all about having fun, but we make it competitive. It's like competitive fun. Like, how do you make it so that it can be for all kids, but yet everybody can still get something out of it? So basically what we do is we break it up and we do stations in the morning and the afternoon. We go offense in the morning, defense in the afternoon. We have some competitive games. It's touch, it's no pads. There's a camp, it's shorts and t-shirts and cleats. That's all it is. And what's great about it is, we have some awesome sponsors, and maybe when we get close to the camp, I'll jump on again. But sponsors like the Hard Rock Hotel, and multiple food venues like Culver's in the Wiregrass Wedgley Chapel area. Folks that have jumped on board, not only donated money but time, but just made it fun for the kids. You drop your kid off, they get T-shirts, gift bags, they get fed lunch every day. Awesome lunches, for free. They just show up and they get this stuff, sports drinks, waters anywhere you need it. And then of course, the high school coaches at Wiregrass, they run the stations. The high school kids help out at the stations. And then we've had in the past players like Mike Allstott, Mike Evans, OJ Howard, the late great Vincent Jackson would always come through. And also, Ali Marpet, I know, was going to come last year and we had the COVID. So, I know Ali was going to come out if he can. The big uglies usually bring a couple of their buddies with them if they can. So it's just a great experience. I've had it from, the kids that love football that get up and they love wanting to do it. Or we have a kid that's cried on the first day. The parents all worried about him. I tell the kid, I get down on knee and say, listen, give me a day and you tell me what you think. And then the next day, the parent drops the kid off and said, he was in my room at 6 a.m. Let's get breakfast. Let's go, Dad. I want to get to the field. And that's fun. That's what it's all about because the kids really enjoy it. We also do some cool stuff like combine drills, and we'll time them in a 40, and, we'll do vertical jump, and we have competitive stations. So, just a ton of fun. But they can go to AnthonyBechtFootballCamp.com. You can go to AnthonyBecht.com. You go to my Twitter. Just go to my site. The camp information's there. It's June 7th, 8th, and 9th. It's a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's from 9 to 3 p.m. And listen, it's a one-stop shop of fun and football, and they learn life skills. We teach these kids real life scenarios. Chris Nacco, Pasco County Sheriff, comes out, talks to the kids last few years. We've had who else has come out? Big Nasty's come out, all painted up and talk to the kids. So it's really a great opportunity for me and my wife to give back. A lot of these football programs in these counties are self-sufficient. And, my son goes there, and I want to make the experience great for not only him, but all the other football players there. I see these kids work hard. They deserve to have nice things if they can get them. So, and also for your listeners, if there's a sponsor out there, someone that has a company that wants to join forces with me, I have a solid Twitter following, Facebook, Instagram. I'm really good about plugging folks. If you have a business, you want to get your product out there, or you just want to write a check and be anonymous, those funds will go to good use and make some kids happy. We also, we also bring in a lot of the Tampa rec kids, kids that don't have a lot of money, 20, 25 kids, however many they'll be able to bring up vans and drop them off and give them an awesome experience for no cost. Because we also know that kids, can't handle the price. There is a price for it. It's it's been 15 years. I've never changed the price, $165 since day one. And, again, they get a lot for it. I know a lot of parents that pay a lot more for 3 days of babysitting and preschool or whatever those things are called, daycares. So
that's a steal.
That's it, man. That's what it's all about. And
absolute steal to be able to do that many days. Get to see some NFL players. They get fed, like you said. That's a freaking steal. That's cheap.
And, we're not a camp company. Like, me and my wife started this. So, like, my wife's checking people in. I'm got the horn, the whistle. I'm out there. Like, I'm not like photo and stuff. Like, I'm sweating at the end of the day. And when my players, the former Bucs and current Bucs come out, I'm like, dude, immerse yourself in this, man. These kids love it. They autographs and stuff are great, but catching a touchdown from Chad Pennington or a quarterback, Vinny Testaverde, that comes out like, dude, that's a lifetime memory. Like I was growing up, I didn't have any camps. You catch a touchdown like from a quarterback in the NFL, that's like unbelievable. So trying to get Tom to come out. I mean, obviously, I tried that number thing that text thing. I haven't gotten a response yet. So if you guys get him on the show, which I'm sure you have him lined up since you guys are now a national show, put a good word in for me. Maybe he'll get to one of those.
Once he gets back from Dubai, me and him were texting the other day that
we're supposed to go have some
Costa Rica, wherever we're stalking him. Yeah,
we're supposed to have some avocado vodka with him when he gets back. But we'll get there when we get there. But Anthony, more importantly, I need to ask you because it's going to come up, right? Like me and Stank already know. We're going to need like a full rundown of the measurables of all the Ali kids. We need 40 times the bench press. Secondly, can the Ali fathers step on the field and coach the coaches on how to coach? Because that's just a reality.
Is he one of those dads guys? Like he's going to want special access.
100%.
Yeah, he's one of those guys. That's okay. We get them every year. We have the, with COVID protocol, we have special lanyards and stuff.
We're talking about he needs an umbrella person.
Yeah.
See, I was going to actually, I don't know how you guys knew. I was going to ask.
I got one better. Hold on, Anthony. They have that new coach now that's been glorified, the holdback coach.
The get back coach.
The
holdback. He
needs
a
one of those guys.
He needs a holdback coach.
Yeah, we'll get 2 high school kids to just wear a belt that day. We'll just yank you back, man.
Listen,
bring your headset. We'll hook it into your pocket.
Now we're talking, bro. Yeah. See, so I was gonna say, if you need another coach, I got a Harbaugh get up, bro. I'll put on the khakis. I'll tuck the clipboard in the back of the pants. I'll be out there, man, and I'll fucking whip them, man. I'll whip those little kids into shape.
Amber, you need to get your boy out there. First of all,
I am. I'm bringing my kid out there. I'm bringing my 7-year-old.
He's good. I lost him at the airport. He found his way back to me.
Yep.
Get that boy out there. Get him some competition, man.
Oh, I'm bringing my 7-year-old.
Yeah, you know what? You're gonna send me your resume and let me check that out before I actually bring you through the gates.
Anthony,
I gotta see where you've been. You know what I mean? I gotta see where you've been.
Anthony, I used to coach. I used to coach for your, the competition at Wharton High School, right down the road.
Wharton. Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I used to coach there.
I will be there with my kids. So if you actually do need help, I think Latte's gonna bring his kid out there too. So
I'm gonna bring my son too.
Yeah,
but hey, if you listen closely though, you can listen. Yeah, you can hear the jugs machine. Is Kobe still out there catching balls?
Absolutely.
He's still catching balls. He's not allowed to come inside and eat dinner until he catches.
I just threw away a jug machine. I couldn't get it till
9. No, man. It's 500 receptions in a row, and then you can have dinner. Otherwise, sorry.
If he drops, he's got to start all over again.
You're not hungry. Apparently, you're not hungry enough.
And how old is he, Sammer?
7.
Yeah.
You should start
young, man.
Start giving those speeches on TikTok. That's
Dude, I got him running slants and in routes now. Teaching him how to, you know what we're doing while we're watching like the tournament? I'm watching tournament basketball. He's not really into it. I got him facing the wall next to the TV, and I'll just yell out "hut," and he'll turn around as the ball's coming at him, and he's grabbing it, tucking it back down, and then back again.
Face the wall, I'm not trying. Around. This is not to pick on anybody, guys, and this is for everybody except Sammer. He's not like he's teaching him how to catch a ball, be a receiver. Now his kid's not like 5'1", 140.
He is actually
like one of those guys.
He is. Yeah, he's huge.
Look, he's built like
So he's going to be in the guard and tackle.
That's what I was going to say. He's built like a fucking center, and he's out there running receiver drills.
He's not built like a center. He's a normal looking kid. He's got a receiver body.
Like a center.
No. At most, if he let himself go, he'd be a tight end.
We legitimately lost Anthony. We legitimately lost them at the airport celebration.
I swear I did.
When the Bucs flew back for the NFC Championship, we're like, where did? Oh shit!
Yeah, where did Kobe go?
He just found his way back.
Street smarts, bro. It's like his pops.
Listen,
enjoy those times with your kid. That's awesome because my kid's going to be graduating soon, and time flies. So that's awesome, dude. Hey, keep working. You never know. You might have yourself something there.
Are you fending off scouts already? I mean, like pro scouts, or are you dealing with the college scouts right now?
No, it's just recruiting in college, and it's a crazy process with COVID and how these kids are try to gain attention and coaches making decisions on kids they really haven't seen in person and stuff like that. So it's been an interesting time for that. But yeah, man, it's all good. It's if one school wants you, that's all you need, right? So been fortunate enough for him, for my son who plays quarterback up here at Wiregrass Ranch High School, to get several offers and we're just enjoying the process, having the conversations, and just, you know, embracing the whole thing, man. It's, you know, it's a culmination of hard work, and, you know, he takes it seriously, and it's going to be fun, man. I mean, me and Mom are really proud of him, and again, you never know what's going to happen, but to get at least to this point and get your education paid for is pretty impressive. So
absolutely fucking amazing, Anthony. I wish him the best of luck, man. I don't know. Listen, the thighs, everybody knows about this podcast of the thighs. He at the age, how old is he?
He's 17.
Okay. 17, and he's up there with Blaine Gabbert's thighs.
So
listen, I'm just gonna make a prediction.
Well put together.
I'm gonna
a little head start on him though, right?
So I'm gonna make a prediction with the long locks that he has, those blonde locks and the thighs. I see Anthony at draft day one day just sitting.
Oh man, yeah, we'll see. You know, we'll see. I don't want to put that on though, you know, but hey, if he can start some games in college, bro, that'd be great. That'd be great.
The people in the chat,
grind,
stop
you'll
with
do
the Josh Gordon stuff. Stop it, okay? And somebody else said, "What happens if we don't sign AB?" What do you mean? What happens? Like we just continue to win games. Like,
listen, AB already came out on
Scotty Miller
Instagram and said he's coming back.
Scotty Miller's he's wide receiver 1, Anthony. We've been saying that since the offseason.
Nobody wants to give him the credit he deserves, even though he took the heart straight out of Aaron Rodgers' chest in the Packers. I mean, we wouldn't be wearing rings right now.
What about that? What about that corner, King?
Bro, when they re-signed King, everyone, not just in Tampa, nationally, they were like, do they remember what Scotty
Miller's gonna eat? Scotty Miller gonna eat, baby. Hey, before we leave the draft talk, I had one more question for you, Anthony. Is there a player in the first round? I mean, obviously, realistically speaking, that you would absolutely love for the Bucs at 32?
Oh man. You know, I got to get my cheat sheet out because I got, you know, I'm old.
I have a draft crush.
His
name is Kwity Paye.
Anthony, do it, Anthony. You can look at the cheat sheet, but do it, man. One of the big 3. Just do it. Just
Kwity Paye, defensive end, Michigan. That's my draft crush.
I'm there with that. I like depth. You can never have enough of those guys, and I always remember the New York Giants just constantly drafting defensive ends. I'm
just
down.
Stacking the line. You got OC. You just had them all. JPP. You got the whole crew.
Keep them fresh. You know, you rotate them.
Yeah, the thing about Peeney is he can play guard if you want. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is that the one weak link? That's not like.
Oh, you're talking about the tackle from Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's a beast.
I mean, you know, if I had my choice, I would take that guy. Yeah.
Really? Even with Alex Kappa and the fact that Stinney stepped in so well.
Alex Kappa is a good, you know, he's good enough. You know, when you got 4 guys, you can plug in a guy, and he's gotten better. You're right. I don't have but you know, he has his limitations. This guy is dominant. I mean, he won't be there in the top 5 or 6 picks. So he's that good. And if you put him at guard, it's like
on the Bucs draft for sure.
Yeah.
I can't.
A lot of positions that are great, we don't need them. I mean, you know, it's like if I said Devontae Smith or Waddle, or like, what would you do with them? I don't know. It's just like it's going to be tough for a coordinator to make it all happen. Like, you know, it's just like,
there's a lot of.
I can see a scenario like you know, dream, like we're talking dumb, right? Just dream scenarios here, like Jamar Chase, because Godwin, we don't know what's going to happen next year, right? Like Mike Evans is getting a little long in the teeth. He's my favorite player, but he's getting a little long in the teeth. I can see where it's like, you can plug this kid in and you got Brady. Just throw the ball over the field, forget AB, and move on. But yeah, I mean, corners. I thought when you were looking, I was thinking to myself, like maybe the top corner, like dream scenario, but we don't need corners, safeties. It's just
no. There's some people in the chat room that have mentioned Elijah Mondin and adding more players to the secondary, which kind of makes a little sense because eventually those guys who were all drafted almost in the same 1 or 2 years. You can't pay all of them.
Carlton Davis is a free agent after next year.
Yeah,
and then SMB and Bunting. Well, SMB is Bunting and Dean
Jamel
are both
Dean.
Year after.
Yeah. So eventually you got to pay somebody. You can't pay them all. So maybe it makes sense. So what are your thoughts on drafting a secondary guy with the guys we have now, or is that more or less just again another scenario of best player available?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is. I think you can find corners, 2nd, 3rd round. especially if they don't have to jump in there and play now and they could be developed. Todd Bowles is really good at that. He knows how to get players ready to go if they have the talent. If he has part of that, I speak to Todd every couple of weeks because our kids play on the same 7-on-7 team. So I try to pick his brain when I can. And, he's pretty adamant about his system and getting guys to kind of flourish in it in the right spots. So, and I believe him. He's done it. He justifies it. He's the best in the business. So, he gets all his toys back and he's going to potentially get another one, maybe in the first round. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, don't let one of those top corners or top linebackers fall to us. There's some talent at those positions. And like you said, Anthony, nobody knows how the draft's going to shake out. We're in the Patriots spot right now, right? The trade back scenario where we could, like you said, collect some more picks for the, at the top of the second round and have 3 2s and 3 3s and play that game. Or we could, stick or move up. You just never know. We're going to sit there for 8 hours though on a live show for our pick for the potential that it might get traded away.
Party, Anthony, you should come by and join us.
You got to come by and say hi at least.
Well, the first round I have Jets work to do. First round Jets. That we have our show.
Well, you guys are right away, so you'll be done after.
Yeah, exactly. Now I don't know if they're going to make me stick around.
Well, you got 2 picks in the first.
They got they got a lot going on, so they may make some moves. So it may be one of those all day first round things, but we'll see what happens.
Well, Sammer, you mentioned earlier about what organization was you thought? Oh, the Giants, that they always take pass rusher after pass rusher, and they were successful when they were doing that.
No, just in that one little 5-6 year window.
But in that little window too, the Seahawks have been very successful, and they've taken running back after running back, and Chris Carson and Rashad Penny.
How many of those running backs worked, buddy? Since Sean Alexander and Beast Mode, how many of those running? And they didn't even draft Beast Mode. They didn't draft him, right?
Buffalo drafted Beast
Rashad Penny ain't no Najee Harris, bro. Okay,
I'm just saying they wasted those picks. You're only making my point, right?
I'm not making.
They also had some Hall of Famers on their offensive line that back then as well. So they're line.
They took Rashad Penny 3 years ago.
If you guys are going to talk Bucs while I'm on here, I'm going to go watch King Kong versus Godzilla.
No, I was about to actually wrap it up because we're going on the deep end. Anthony,
wait, are you a King Kong? You gotta let Kong guy, or are you a Godzilla guy?
King Kong or Godzilla?
I'm a King Kong guy, but it may change my mind in this thing. We'll see what happens.
Me too.
You got when I get off this, I don't. You got to let them know. Like I don't stay on people's podcasts longer than 30 minutes. Like I tell them up front. You guys, again, you guys got free reign here, bro. Look at this.
Oh, shit. Only Stank would have that in his fucking.
I don't know if that's cool or scary or what.
Only fucking Stank would have
a giant child. Everybody knows I'm a giant fucking child. And I found
let's wrap this shit up.
I found this at
make noise or anything?
Yep. Anthony, let people know how they can find you on your podcast. You do some cool stuff aside from hanging out with us, obviously.
Yeah, just check me out on Twitter, Anthony_Becht, BECHT. Again, my website, AnthonyBeck.com, AnthonyBeckFootballCamp.com. If you got a kid in 1st or 8th grade, send them to the camp. It's going to be a good time, and looking forward to having it this year. But yeah, man, good to be on, fellas, and appreciate you giving me a chance to come on this nationally reviewed show.
Yeah, man, we don't want to big time you, but
I'm glad. I feel like I'm the first. Is this the first show post?
Yeah, you're the follower.
I was the first guest, so I know where I stand. I'm good. I'll see.
Yeah, there you go, man.
So wait. So Anthony's Team Kong. I'm Team Kong. Stank is Team Kong. Sammer. Before we sign off.
I'm clearly Team Kong. Come on.
Okay. Just making sure.
Come on. I'm hairier than that guy. Of course, we're Team Kong. Come on, man. Anthony, thanks for hanging out, man. Everybody in the chat, everybody watching, thank you so much. As always, go Bucs.